Croeso I sianel Blaid Llwyd. Yes, and this week we're back with Eden's Reach. Things are going to settle down a bit more now with everything running properly, and hope to get a few more videos out soon. We'll be doing a few more things, and of course next month we do have a few updates coming out for different things, so we'll be getting some old but new stuff in. You'll be familiar with all the ends we're doing, but there's some new builds coming out that will be fun. Anyway, let's return to Eden's Reach here. Let's pick things up where we left them last time. A low volume beeping wakes me up from my light sleep. I groggily turn to try and ignore it. It's incessant. Unable to go back to sleep, feeling slowly returns to my body as the pain from laying on the floor makes itself known. It's a sharp pain starting from my back. It's beginning to look like I wasn't getting any more sleep, so I instead sluggishly turned to pick up my phone. It was 3:30 in the morning. I swiped through to the home screen, seeing the several text messages Dylan sent me. Weirdly though, I had several missed calls from Oswald. Why is he calling me at such a ridiculous hour? I had little time to contemplate as my phone rings once more. It's Oswald again. I sigh deeply and accept the call this time. Hey Adrian, thank goodness you picked up. I was starting to worry something bad might have happened to you. You can say that, I suppose. A moment of silence passes, prompting me to clear my throat that was kind of dry from crying myself to sleep. I have to at least not sound like a total wreck right now. Well, what's wrong? You sound terrible. Well, there goes that idea. I don't... My eyes begin to well up. I can't seem to bring myself to talk. I want to tell someone. I need to. But the tears, they just won't stop flowing. My throat, it's tightening even if I try to stop sobs from escaping. I take deep breaths, try my best to calm down, but I just can't seem to recompose myself. Adrian, why don't you come out for a bit? We can talk things through better in person. I eventually let out a weak grunt of approval. Oswald was seemingly able to calm me down just like that. Satisfied, Oswald ended the call. I took a few more moments to fully calm down before standing up from the foam flooring. I tried my best to prepare as much as I can before heading out. There wasn't much else to do besides put on my new jacket and carrying my DJ pad along. Satisfied with myself, I head out to the cold open air. I just take a taxi to the bar. I reach the bar much faster than anticipated. I go into my cab and the thin outline of neon greets me once more. I expect Max to be at the front entrance, but in his place was Oswald instead. He waves me over with a warm smile and I quickly approach where he stands. He surveys me from head to toe, probably gauging out my emotions. I merely look away as he does so, prompting him to finish faster. Hey Adrian, was the trip back here okay? He's trying to sound friendly, most likely due to what happened earlier. It's not that I'm ungrateful for the gesture, but I'm grown to hate it when people do this kind of thing to me. It's just like they did back then, back when people pitied me for dropping out. I just let out a soft sigh and attempt to humour his attempts, not really wanting to land myself in more trouble than I already had. I guess it was. That's good at least. Now, what were you going to tell me? I really thought I already finished crying all my tears out earlier before I got here. They slowly begin falling down the sides of my muzzle once more. I feel my body shrivel up where I stood, the sensation of numbness slowly creeping across my being. It's all gone. I've got nothing left. Nothing left? What do you mean? I went straight home, like you suggested. When I got here, everything that I had was gone. My furniture, my clothes and electronics, even my food. Everything was just gone. I remained silent for a few moments afterward. Meanwhile, Oswald doesn't respond. I could ever hear him grumbling under his breath. He seems annoyed, That's an unexpected reaction. I thought he'd be more sympathetic. Oh, I can't believe this. I'm so sorry this happened to you, he says in a gentle and worried tone. I don't really have the energy to properly process his concern, though, but I'm grateful for the sentiment. Yeah, I'll send you the payment for the gig earlier. You can also use one of the empty rooms we have here if you need it. I guess a place to stay wouldn't be so bad. It'd definitely be better than the floor, but... Are you sure it's fine? Well, of course it is. Oh, don't worry. I'll sort things out when we get there. You don't have to be concerned about anything. All right. Oswald walks towards the entrance to the bar and opens the door. I stand behind him and think of what to say, what to do, what the future holds, if I ever can get that far. So, where will I be staying? The backstage? The employees' room? Oswald turns to me after a clicking sound comes from his direction. He has a rather confused expression on him, most likely from what I said. What? No, you ought to be sleeping there. I was actually waiting for you to arrive so I can finally close up. Oh, did you have to wait long? Well, not really. I had to wait till Dylan was able to get home on his own, though. He actually just left a few minutes before you arrived. A small speck of concern assaults my mind when I hear Dylan's name. Is he going to be all right? He's a bit shaken up, but he'll recover. Hearing that gives me some peace of mind. Not all of my worries will lay to rest, though. Oswald, what about the two men from earlier? He grimaces at the mention of those two, but quickly brushes it off himself. You don't have to worry about them. I made sure they won't bother you, or anyone for that matter, again. I stared at him silently, wondering about what exactly he did to those two. An awkward silence falls between us. Oswald clasps his hands together, taking this opportunity to fix his rather rugged-looking tux. Strange. It seemed a lot cleaner when I first got here. I quickly dismissed those thoughts, though, and just chalked it up as another day at the bar. Being the owner must have its own difficulties, after all. It leads me further into the bar than I had been earlier. The place is mostly empty at this point, and the lights are off, leaving this rather unsettling feel to the place. Oswald walks towards the same door at the other end of the bar where he directed those two men to work things out. He opens the door and I follow not too far behind him. The door closes behind me on its own, and the scenery that greets me immediately arouses heavy suspicion. The door leads into a tight alleyway, with an entrance on one end, the one behind me, and a thick wall on the other end, the direction that Oswald's walking to. I pause slightly, for he notices. He then signals me to follow, and I comply despite my growing uneasiness. He stops in front of the thick concrete wall and begins fiddling with his arm as he stares at the dead end in front of him. My scepticism rises, and I slowly begin to doubt that he's bringing me anywhere near a bed. He lets out an annoyed grunt, nearly smacking his own wrist in frustration. It's kind of like how you smack a faulty remote in an attempt to get it to work. Come on, you stupid mechanism. A little after grumbling, the wall ever so slightly shakes, causing some dust to fall off. After a heavy sigh, he fiddles around with it a bit more. After he lets out a satisfied huff, the wall in front of us comes sliding down, metallic clinging and clanging coming from below. That takes me by surprise. Oswald starts stepping in and signals me to follow. Now this is definitely not normal. In fact, this is extremely unsettling. He quickly goes down the steps and I inch towards the entrance, completely hesitant to follow. Oswald notices my hesitation and stops midway, half of his body already out of sight, hidden in the darkness below. Look, I understand that all this looks rather sketchy, but please trust me. Well, it's not like I have a better choice at the moment. Actually, there is Dylan's apartment, but it's on the other side of the city. I'm too tired and too strapped for cash to get there, even if I did just get paid. I guess Oswald's right. Okay, I trust you. Come on and get those feet moving. The lights are motion activated, by the way. I do as I'm told and start walking down the steps, listening to Oswald's footsteps echoing with the inky blackness of this stairwell. One after another, a set of lights slowly reveal a short tunnel situated below, with a speck of light faintly glowing towards the end as it bent. While we walk, my curiosity starts to grow. I begin to wonder why Oswald is doing all this. This all seems a bit too complex to him just to get me a bed to rest for one night. So, Oswald.
Yes?
Why are you going out of your way to help me? How do I put this? You seem a bit too involved and overly concerned for someone you barely even know.
I have my reasons. Let's just say there's a lot more to this situation than it appears.
His answer only serves to make me even more curious. Where I might should question him further, we reach the end of the tunnel. It connects to a large room teeming with quite a variety of things. Technological equipment, couches, panels, all of it is being stored here. A woman, an orange tiger, is pacing back and forth across a large monitor and several different smaller ones, her focus unwavering. Seated on one of the couches is Max, wearing different clothing. He's handling what appears to be a personal panel, scrolling through looking rather bored before Oswald greets him.
Are you sure to get sweet time closing up shop?
Sorry, I had to deal with a few things.
The two immediately look in our direction. First a look of happy familiarity, then their expressions change as soon as they lay their eyes on me. The woman's expression becomes that of curiosity. Trying to get a read on Max, though, he suddenly stands from his seat.
What is he doing here?
Max, it's just Adrian. Nothing to be worried about.
Nothing to be worried about? What do you mean, nothing to worry about? Why the hell did you bring someone in here?
Max briskly paces towards me, a sense of violence in his gait. Oswald blocks the way, keeping me from the male tiger's reach.
Get the fuck out of the way. What are you even fucking planning this time, Oswald?
I'm not planning anything. He just needs a place to stay.
Oh, so you hired a homeless DJ for the bar, and now you brought him here? Real nice, you fucking idiot.
Oswald growls as he grabs Max and takes him to the centre of the room. I just stand there by the entrance, keeping my distance from the two.
Eden Corpse has something to do with this, Max.
Oh, and that's supposed to make me feel better?
It was their fault he's homeless now.
We aren't a fucking charity homos. Why do you have to take responsibility for this pup?
Max, it's our fault they got in this situation in the first place.
How are you sure he isn't some spy for them, huh? That husky turns out to be working for them. He effectively spoon-fed our location to the enemy.
If Adrian was indeed a spy, I'd sure be able to sniff out his intentions from a mile away. You know that damn well, Max.
You aren't fucking perfect. You'll make mistakes. This little runt might end up being that mistake.
You, of all people, should know that I'm a better judge of character between the two of us. Why don't you just trust my fucking judgment for once?
How could us trusting your ass ever done for us, huh? Enough!
The tigress intervenes, separating the two much bigger men before they lunge at each other's throats. The two continue to growl while giving each other death glares. They make distance grow between them. If the DJ doesn't end up leaking our location, you two have any screaming matches fucking will. Max, can you just, I don't know, go to your room and calm down?
But Alice...
No. Max grumbles and turns to leave. Rothery looks at me with cold, bitter eyes. He disappears into a hallway right next to the couch he's previously sitting on. I could hear the sound of someone punching a stone wall echoing from his direction. And bring a fucking punching bag while you're at it.
Leave me the fuck alone.
The tigress, whose name is apparently Alice, grumbles while fixing her glasses, letting out a heavy sigh afterwards. Oh, what a hothead. He was much calmer back when we were kids.
I'm pretty sure I got that from a certain someone.
Oswald sits on the couch and begins to unwind. Alice, on the other hand, raises her brow at the wolf which he notices.
What?
Don't you want me? You have a lot of explaining to do.
What explaining?
Alice then points at me and Oswald quickly connects the dots. Seems that scuffle with Max made him forget about me for a bit.
I can explain.
Just do it after you pick up Ellie. They dropped her off at Park Avenue.
Okay. Just don't give me another mouthful.
Oswald stands and walks towards the exit, patting my back as he passes me by. I'm left in Alice's company. The tigress then cautiously approaches me. Sorry I had to see that. They aren't usually this rowdy, believe me.
I sure hope not. Those two look so scary.
They kind of have to be. They're technically the leaders of our little group here.
What group?
I'll explain everything once I get all the deets of you from Ozzy. For now, we'll start with this. Why did he bring you here?
I assume that Ozzy just means Oswald by process of elimination.
Thank you, great multiple choice tests in high school.
I blush a bit. I'm honestly embarrassed and guilty to have all this happen just for some decent sleep.
I
kind of need a bed.
Well, you're in luck. There's a spare bedroom in here. You can just use that one.
All right.
She calmly directs me to the same hallway that Max went through earlier, which makes me nervous that I'll meet him on the way in his angered state. Alice notices my apprehension, a smirk on her face as she turns to fully face me again. Don't worry, the spare room is closer to here than Max is. Besides, he has plenty of time to calm himself. That is, of course, as he wants to get another earful from me, and believe me, he definitely doesn't want that.
Right.
We walk toward the hallway, each side littered with a row of doors from end to end. She stops at the closest door to the right and opens it for me. Here we are. Now, it isn't exactly first class, but it'll have to do.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not really picky with accommodations.
That makes both of us. Best get some sleep while you can. We'll just have to catch up on things later. Preferably when those two blockheads aren't around.
Blockheads?
Who else would I be referring to?
I'll admit, that did get a chuckle out of me. Thanks, Alice.
Oh, there, we haven't even been acquainted yet. Best hold off on the first name basis till after I get to know you better.
Oh, sorry about that.
Rookie mistake. Happens to the best of us.
Right, I'll just go ahead and sleep now.
Smart move.
I enter the room as Alice begins to walk away. Dim lights immediately turn on as I enter. Seems like every light here is automatic. I immediately set my sights on the bed, crash into it in one swift motion, not bothering to even take my jacket or shoes off. I just want to end this extremely long and utterly exhausting day. The bed isn't as soft as my old one, but it gets the job done just fine regardless. Better than the foam flooring, at least. I begin to drift off as soon as I close my eyes. Psst. A mild shaking gently pulls me into a half-awake state. A hushed call pierces through my ear. I attempt to ignore the disturbances at first, but it doesn't stop. Whatever the sensations came from pokes and prods over several parts of my body until I eventually cave in. What the? My slumber is once again short-lived. I open my eyes slowly, seeing the blurry, vaguely familiar burly figure towering over me. Wherever it is covers some of the night lights. My vision ever so slowly starts to clear. Before me turns out to be Oswald in a more casual set of clothing. Hey, do you mind coming out for a bit? I want to show you something. Can't wait till after I get more sleep. What time is it anyway? Oh, 5:30 in the morning. 2 hours? How many times is Oswald going to suddenly wake me up? Or does it become a regular thing? It's better be worth it. It will be, I promise. Oswald leads me towards the door and then straight to the exit of the base rather hastily, our quick pace knocking me out of my tired stupor instantly. We briskly go up the steps, and he quickly opens the door when we get to the entrance. He leads me through a winding staircase, one that goes up several floors. Oswald nearly pushes me up the steps, leaving almost no effort on my part to actually go up aside from moving my legs. The wolf continues to push me up to the highest floor. Before we reach it, though, he places one of his paws over my eyes. What are you doing? Shh, you'll ruin a surprise. I go ahead and just concede to whatever he's planning to do. A moment later, I hear a door slide open in front of me. Specks of light peek through the small gaps between Oswald's fingers. I can feel Oswald's hold lighten as the light intensifies. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Oswald removes his paw from my eyes and causes me to squint after being in the darkness for a bit. When my vision adjusts back to normal, I'm greeted by one of the most breathtaking views of Bayline City I've ever seen in my life. This place, turns out to be the route off the bar, had an amazing view of the sunrise. It's beautiful. Huh, I knew you'd love it. Really? How'd you know I would? Because I've never met anyone who didn't. I agree. Who wouldn't like this kind of view? The sunrise is spectacular here. The taller buildings frame the ball of light slowly rising from the horizon lined by the sea. The clouds in the sky painted in bright yellow tones blend into their normally white coloration. The sky in front of us displays a gradient ranging from the blues of night to the yellows of the morning. You know, this place never fails to give me hope. Hope? Yep, hope. For what? Well, tomorrow will be less shitty than today, for starters. I'm sure that's one of the things we're all wishing for. Well, with this view, it's already gone a lot better. Huh, good. Oswald hands me something while I continue to watch the sunrise unfolding in front of me. I turn my attention to it and see it is my headphones, kept neat and tidy without so much of a scratch on it. My headphones? You left it on the stage. I never seen anything quite like it, so it caught my attention quite easily. Well, I did make them myself. I can't believe I forgot about them. Well, after what happened last night, it's understandable they'd slip your mind. I couldn't even deny it. Last night was so eventful, my mind ended up all over the place. As Oswald and I watch the sunrise, I can't help but think about how kind he'd been to me throughout all this. I think it's quite rare for someone to be like this. I take a quick glance at him as I clutch my headphones. Hey, Oswald. Yeah? Thank you. A few hours pass, allowing me to get a good night's rest, albeit rather short, in my room. Well, it's more like a good morning's rest than anything, but that's beside the point. A short while later, I started hearing several distinct noises coming from outside. I slowly opened my eyes to stare at the door while I lay flat on my bed, waves of curiosity washing over me, making me want to see what's happening on the other side. My body begins fighting with my brain as soon as I stand up, though, with a sinking feeling that makes me slump back onto my bed and stay there, leaving me in a personal torturous cycle of playing hot and cold with opening the door. Midway through my hesitation, it suddenly slides open. My vision is suddenly fixated on the silhouette of a large figure blocking the door. I stumble slightly back when I see Max leaning on the doorframe with an apathetic look in his eyes. Hi? He glances my way as I stutter in front of him, sighing under his breath.
Just get your ass over to the briefing room.
The briefing room?
It's the first room you saw when Oswald brought you here. Alice called for you.
Oh, what would she want with me?
Beats me.
He moves out of the way to let me pass. As I walk past him, though, he mutters something under his breath.
In any way.
Huh? Max raises his brow at me once more for walking towards the briefing room.
Doesn't matter. You're going to be leaving soon anyways.
What?
Why do you look so surprised? We haven't discussed you could stay for any longer than one night.
I guess that's true, but... The tiger sighs once more before turning to face me.
Look, let me save you the trouble. Alice is most likely going to tell you just that, or she's going to go and sugarcoat it. But now you know better.
He turns and starts walking in the direction of their briefing room, leaving me behind to my worries. I guess it is true. I shouldn't have expected any more than one night stay around here, but where else am I to go? I'm being too optimistic to bet on people's goodwill nowadays. Now I think about it, it does sound pretentious and kind of selfish of me to expect some special treatment, especially from absolute strangers. Well, I suppose I'll have to get ready to leave either way. I wrap myself in an embrace for a bit before I sheepishly proceed to the briefing room. The briefing room was about as empty as I'd seen it the night before. There's Max leaning in the corner, eyes closed, probably keeping to himself. Seems a lot more serene when he's all by his lonesome like this. I'd much rather avoid tangling with him, even if I do end up staying here. It's only been less than a day, yet I already know his personality doesn't mix well with mine. In an effort to avoid getting the invisible radius of Max's wrath, I shimmy around the opposite corner, slowly inching myself closer to where Alice stands. The tigress seems to be deep in concentration, directed at the large screens in front of her. She turns her head in my direction, seemingly enough for her to see me in her peripherals. However, she's acting as if I'm not even there. I inch closer to her, trying to see what has her extremely focused. Her figure isn't that big, so I'm able to peek through some of the panels she has floating around her. One of them has a picture of me and some blocks of text trailing down beyond the panel. Try to read what was on it. I'm caught off guard when Alice collapses it and turns to me.
Hey there, Sleeping Beauty. Rest well?
I'm fine, I suppose. Your bed's a lot softer than the floor.
I better be. It wasn't exactly cheap outfit in all these bedrooms.
I chuckle a little at a snark, feeling my mood starting to lighten up a bit. So, what was it you needed from me? The smile slowly dissipates. In its place is a stern, albeit uneasy expression. She turns her head from her desk before giving her attention to me, breathing out a heavy sigh in the process.
Well, it's about your arrangement in staying here.
Pit in my stomach forms, knowing full well what she's about to tell me. What about it?
Well, it's a little hard to explain. Well, Adrian, you see...
Just get to the point already.
Max suddenly blurts out, clearly listening in on the conversation.
Oh, shut it, Max.
Alice retorts while I stand awkwardly in the middle of the tension that formed between them, seemingly out of nowhere.
Right, you can't stay here.
I cringe internally as Alice confirms what Max said earlier.
That is, unless you join our group.
Huh? Before we even notice, Max is already stomping towards us, his scowl shifting to nothing short of subdued anger.
Alright, sis, what crap are you peddling on?
I flinch at Max's sudden advance while Alice stays undeterred, not even passing so much as a quick glance at the large tiger.
It was our decision.
I didn't hear any discuss.
Mine and Oswald's.
What?
Max, visibly taken aback, face palms what seems to be absurdity to him.
This is ridiculous.
Look, Max, he's better staying here with us than out there in the open.
Pigs that goodwill of your own hearts?
He says it rather flippantly, mocking the female.
To keep our location from being leaked, you idiot.
Of course, now you can explain to me why you didn't bother to tell me about this.
Would you have said anything besides no?
No.
Then we're done talking.
A short while after that rather amusing spat between the two, Oswald comes in from the entrance behind Max, holding 2 paper bags. They seem filled to the brim, the contents peeking out from the top of the rough brown texture of the bags.
What's going on here? I could hear screaming from the other end of the hallway. Oh great, here comes the pup saviour.
Got a scene already filled Adrian in?
I was about to, but someone just had to interrupt.
Max rolls his eyes and proceeds to just close himself off from the two, scoffing as he goes back to his corner.
All right, now that he's out the way.
Alice. There's a hint of sternness to his voice, almost as if he's reprimanding Alice.
Right, go explain everything to the newbie. Let's just move on, shall we?
Right. Oswald moves to the side in a rather sluggish manner while Alice expands a specific panel from her desk before he displays all the information in it. While I do find what Alice has in store for me rather interesting, and honestly a bit overwhelming, I can't help but notice the disappointed look on Oswald's face.
To
took a quick glance at Max, having returned to his sulking spot, wearing a similar expression about him, though he's a lot more sullen than annoyed.
All right, Adrian, before I go about the nitty-gritty, I'm going to need your verbal confirmation.
Alice takes out a rather small box from a desk drawer. She opens it in front of me to reveal an armlet-like device inside.
When you joined Midnight Sun?
She asks me in a rehearsed fashion. Sure.
Your response needs to be certain, Adrian.
Oh, okay. Yes. The device lights up, after which Alice closes the box and places it back on her desk.
All right then, we'll take your word for it.
Now what? Do I work for the bar now, or...? Well, yes, and no.
Huh? Here, let me explain.
Alice proceeds to move out of the way of the large panel behind her that's displayed multiple images and paragraphs of text. There was a picture of a tower, one that looked quite familiar. Then a block of text that seemed to be an article under it. The headline is about Eden Corps. That would make the building Eden Tower. The very same tower as the miniature version displayed in the centre of the plaza's fountain.
I'm sure you are versed about Eden Corps. Its humble beginnings here in Bayline City.
They're the main reason why this country is among the leading ones in the first world.
Yep, you can hardly miss that fact, because all of our advancements technologically that are present in today's society. Expanding from medical technology to all branches of technology, then to philanthropic work. You'd be forgiven if you thought they are a mostly benevolent entity.
Sadly, that isn't the whole story. It's not, but how?
Well, what you get when you're the reason for a large party's success?
Power?
Exactly. Ever since Eden Corp's CEO, Evelyn Eden, made her advancements in the industry, the company started to become a focal point for lots of favours and benefits. Problem is, it was the government that quickly became the company's #1 backer.
After a few years, they turned the government into their lapdog, using the power they achieved to exert more control over the city and the country at large.
That's when all the shitty stuff started to happen.
Max suddenly interjects from his corner, catching everyone off guard.
Yes, in an instant lives were ruined. Entire neighbourhoods either destroyed or turned into industrialised versions of what they once were. They gave the choice of people to monopolise and submit to the power of the company with expanded scope.
Or eliminate those that dare not to.
He says rather grimly, and of disdain in his tone. Well, we don't need to explain it all in detail. You've experienced it for yourself. I guess that's true. When everything they said begins to settle in my mind, the realization suddenly hits me hard. Wait, so the thing that happened to me is also happening to dozens of other people?
By the boatload, sometimes more, sometimes less. At times experiencing a worse fate than you had.
In all those protests against the Eden Corps? Flickering embers of hope in people's lives were ruined by the company.
But there are that many people protesting. Why is anyone doing anything about it? Well, would you bite the hand that feeds you?
All of those lives ruined, in exchange for those who are left to benefit from the company's advancements. I thought to myself for a moment, some things don't add up about this whole thing. This can't be all there is behind Eden Corps, right? All that technology that I enjoy and use every day. It's all built on the exploited lives of countless people. I haven't heard of any of these before. None of these stories ever went public.
They have eyes and ears everywhere. Even if we did find a journalist who's willing to report on it, the technology that surrounds them would only serve to strengthen their bias.
So, what do we do? What do all you have to do with Eden Corps anyway?
Well, we're going to be fighting fire with fire.
What?
They want to control other people's lives in the shadows, so we'll just bring the fucking fight to the shadows too.
What we do can be summarised like that, yeah. We use the guides of a bar to clear away as much suspicion as we can, while fight to level the playing field for everyone.
So you guys are like some sort of resistance.
Someone has to fight for the helpless.
Oswald poses rather heroically in front of me, causing Alice to chuckle a bit. My God, stop that. You're making me want to hurl my breakfast out.
Adrian seemed to appreciate it, yeah?
That made me realise I was blushing in front of them, making me want to cover my face a little out of embarrassment. Okay, now that's all settled. Time to give you a grander tour of the place. Also, don't you and Max have some training to do?
Oh, right. I was rushing because of that. Kind of zoned out back here.
Just go take Max and leave, she says abruptly, and amused at Oswald's apparent cluelessness.
Right. Hey, Max. Time to...
I was waiting on you, bud.
Of course you were. Been waiting to unwind in the training room.
Oswald placed his arm around Max's shoulder as he said that, half hugging the tiger.
Get off me.
Not until we get there.
Then both of them disappeared into the hallway behind me, leaving me alone with Alice. Alright, now they're gone, time to get you better acquainted with the place.
Already?
Yep, can't have you been a lost deadweight puppy for too long.
Right.
Just, what have I gotten myself into? One day I'm living my life, being a DJ in a gig with some big bar, and all of a sudden I'm part of some underground resistance group? And here I thought I'd only stay for at least one night in a comfy bed too. Kind of a huge leap in the sequence of events there, I'd say. Didn't even have any time to dawdle on the absurdity of this sort of thing though, as Alice is already pulling me towards the short opening just across the hallway Max and Oswald went through. Let's start with the infirmary. Okay, just please stop tugging on my jacket. Oh, sorry, just don't be too slow, alright? I'll try to keep up. We walk towards a rather short hallway with little no bends or intersections with a set of doors at the end of the path. Alice stops briefly to unlock the door and open them for me to get a good look at the infirmary. This is the infirmary. If you have any bruises or wounds fixed up or any cuts and gash stitched here, believe me, you'll be getting a lot of them. Well, that's quite a comforting thought. Oh, don't go inside that set of doors over there unless someone explicitly tells you to, okay? Alright. Okay, the infirmary's starting to give me the creeps right now, and I'm not here for it. Just like whatever they're going to make me do is involve me having to visit this place way too often. What's wrong with your fur's all bristled? No, nothing, just anxious. Let's move on, shall we? Okay, if you say so. Alice ushers me out of the infirmary right back into the lounge. We then make a turn towards the hallway, instead of going right to the room, we go straight ahead. The door back there leads to the kitchen. It doesn't get used very often, only when Oswald and I get the meals ready for the team. It's opposite down to the greenhouse, another place you shouldn't go to without explicit permission. It dawns on me that the two restricted doors seem to lead to the same general area. Curiosity fills in my mind and I eventually cave in. Why can't I go there exactly? Well, that place connects to the testing labs my partner and I use. We make just about everything the team needs for any assignments they might get to ask to do. What kind of assignments? Oh, you know, recon missions, occasional heists here and there. Everyone's got their style and spin on finishing their tasks, and me and my partner try our best to accommodate those with the right tools. So you're kind of an inventor? The team, yes. No one else has the correct handle on it, so I took up the task. Maybe someday I'll be able to set you up with some better gear, once I get to know your specific style better. Starting with that jacket. My jacket? What's wrong with it? Don't think I didn't notice you bought that from Neon Peaks. Same place I buy my clothes. Really tied that one away so nobody could buy and wear it around during my last visit in the plaza. No wonder they had to look for it in some secluded shelf. You say something? Nothing. Alice just shrugs and continues with the tour. She walks into the hallway, eventually reaching an opening at the end. There were sounds of hollowed out steps coming from that direction. I can see a sort of platform as well as the shuffling legs of a familiar tiger and wolf pair. Last but not least, this is the training room. You'll most likely be using this place a lot if you do some legwork out in the field. Can we work in the field? Well, things don't happen while you're lazing about in the base all day, you know. Unless you mean that is.
Alice speaks a bit in the trading room while grabbing me by the arm. She places me beside her as I get the full view of the entire place. The entrance is mostly blocked by a boxing ring with Oswald and Max in the middle of a sparring session inside. Just next to it are a few weights as well as some panels. To the distance is what looks like a shooting range all lined up with long vertical divisions.
Well, this is where the tour ends. I still have to set everything up for you, so you can go watch these two while they bruise each other's faces in the meantime.
Alright, thanks for showing me around.
You better not get lost now.
Alice turns around towards the direction of the lounge, right as I proceed to shamble my way around the ring. Oswald and Max are going at it, exchanging quick blows, little none of them ever really connecting. As I continue to watch them, it becomes apparent how agile Oswald is compared to Max. The tiger's strikes are a lot more fierce in comparison. I could feel the wind-breaking aura of Max's jabs. Then, as Max goes in for one quick strike on Oswald's muzzle, the wolf quickly evades it, landing a quick strike directly on the tiger's stomach. This causes Max to stagger a bit, coughing as he falls to his knees. 4-3, Max. One more strike and I win.
Ah, you're so fucking slippery.
And you always stamina trying to make every stroke count. What did I tell you about long tussles?
Only wind up the ones that can connect, right?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, it's been a bad mood since I has...
That's when Max's eyes fall on me, prompting him to do a double take. Quickly clicks his tongue as he enters his closed-off form again. Oswald approaches and places his paw on Max's shoulder while giving him a stern look. The tiger only scoffs as he makes his way to lean on one of the corners of the ring. Oswald then turns to me, putting some of his weight on the ropes to the side closest to me. Hey Adrian, I'd see you're done with the tour. Yeah, it went by pretty quickly. Holy shit, I gotta admit, I'm just nervous because it's Oswald. Those biceps. The suit was hiding all that muscle. Sure, his pecs were broken out, but there's enough suspension of disbelief that it wasn't just muscle. But he's toned all over. No! I compose myself. Then Max isn't all that bad either.
No, stay focused. Just watch and learn from their form.
It was pretty nice watching them fight. They were like professionals out there. They're so stoic and hyper-focused on each other. Their bodies, though, all tensed up and sweaty.
Ugh, why does his mood have to strike now? Oh, damn you, my inconsistent sleep routine.
Are you going to stay and watch? It won't be for long, though, so I'm about to whoop this guy's ass.
Yeah, don't count your victories, you haven't even won them yet. I've got some fight left of me and then some.
His gaze draws onto me as he says that last part. Oh? Prove it then. Max lets out a huff, taking on his vest a bit. I attentively watch as he... Oh no. He's taking his vest off. Oh god, not now.
Okay, remind yourself that he's an asshole. Remind yourself he hasn't been nice to you at all. And that he's taken off his shirt.
Ah! I quietly exclaimed as I quickly popped my face with my paws. Max has noticed, though, his focus is completely on Oswald. The wolf, on the other hand... show off. I take a peek into the gaps through my fingers and... Oh no, is that Oswald's back? Oh, please don't turn around, please don't turn around. Wait, was that a piece of clothing? I lower my hand to see what's definitely Oswald's crumpled up clothes in front of me, drenched in sweat. I tried to resist, but oh my god, I might being a pervert in front of them. Oh god, how does Dylan even manage to stay flaccid with co-workers like these? Ready? I attempt to calm down, trying to contain myself just enough to watch the sparring match like a normal person. Oswald and Max begin circling each other, gauging for an opening to show itself. But then, I get a good look at Oswald's front side. Is that a treasure trail?
As I exhaled to alleviate the heat well enough within me, they charged violently at each other. Max doesn't hesitate, going straight for Oswald's muzzle. The wolf manages to box himself in, making himself harder to hit. This causes Max's strike to miss, allowing Oswald to have a clear shot at Max's side. Oh, predictable. Max suddenly pivots when he sees Oswald begin to wind up to strike. He twists his form and smoothly positions himself behind the wolf. This catches Oswald off guard, making him stumble a bit in the direction opposite to where Max is. He quickly recovers though, stopping himself just by the edge of the ring. But Max already closing in on Oswald while the wolf attempted to quickly turn around to face the tiger. He wasn't able to turn around fast enough, as evident by Max quickly striking him straight to the muzzle. This causes the wolf to fall onto the floor.
Make that 4-4.
Max quickly fumes from his nostrils, turning to glance at me before looking back to the recovering Oswald. That was a nice hit, Oswald says while he holds the lower part of his jaw, slowly standing back up. As he does this, he quickly gives me a side eye and sees that I'm being a nervous wreck. He smirks and gives me a quick wink before turning back his attention to the tiger. Nice hit, Max. Begins pacing around the ring again, rather playfully this time. The tiger was not having any of it.
What the hell are you doing?
Just taking a little bit of the edge off. Your punch still gives me the tingles, you know.
Really? Just tingles?
Something wrong? Want it to be more than that?
Oh, you little...
Max, now agitated, pounces at Oswald, accompanied by a series of punches in tow. Wolf manages to dodge most of them while skillfully blocking the rest. The fight plays out as if he was dancing around his infuriated opponent. The tiger's patience shortens by the second, making his attacks less calculated, but instead more wild and unhinged. Oswald takes advantage of Max's rage when it reaches its peak, and suddenly closes in, placing one of his feet in front of Max's, making the tiger trip and falling flat on his face. 5-4, I call that a win. Oswald offers his paw, but Max just shoves it away. The tiger eventually manages to stand on his own, revealing that his nose is bleeding. Max, your nose.
Oh, what say you, pup? You know what? You've been getting on my fucking...
Before Max manages to blow up at me, Oswald intervenes. Better get that checked, Max. You can talk to him later. Max stutters a bit. Rage quickly deflates him before defeatedly walking towards the exit, leaving me and Oswald alone in the process. Quite the temper, no? You can say that again. Oswald looks around a bit, notices his shirt crumpled up just behind me. He makes a slight motion to pick it up, but one glance my way and he changes his mind. So, want to see the shooting range? I take a quick, discreet glance at his pecs, which are directly in front of my face. Up to you. That's settled then. Follow me. Oswald begins pacing the direction of the shooting range. I'm left to wonder why he left his shirt. Aren't you going to put that shirt back on? Oh, I've just gotten all drenched with sweat. I don't think so. It's too hot for one anyway. I follow Oswald's lead towards the shooting range. Once there, he fiddles around with the pistol that's ready placed on one of the rows. The target in front of him is a few feet away, but Oswald just loads the magazine to the gun before aiming at what he had his sights on without a hint of hesitation. Take a few side steps around him while steeling myself, but expecting loud noises to come out of the barrel. Oswald takes a deep breath, he places his finger on the trigger and pulls it without a moment's pause. The shots that come out are surprisingly silent, meaning the barrel has a suppressor. The target, looking rather new, makes the fresh bullet holes stick out even more of the clean board. Every shot of his is a bullseye, with little no deviation from each other. Whoa! Oswald breathes out, his tense grip loosening on the gun. Oh, that loosened my muscles up quite nicely. Nothing like a good jolt of recoil to set things straight. He looks at me with a rather expectant expression. I just stand here, completely clueless about what it is he wants. What is it? Nothing, sorry, I'll just keep shooting. Yeah, sure. Did he just up and accidentally stare at me, or is it just my imagination talking? I start getting flustered while the image of him looking at me repeatedly plays in my head. I continue watching him shoot with utmost accuracy, his arms barely even moving despite taking the brunt of the recoil, his rigid form accentuating just how well built he is. Sweat drips across my head to the sides of my muzzle, where I realise I'm blushing. Again! I attempt to recompose myself as quickly as I can muster, managing to do so just fast enough for Oswald to finish putting the pistol down. I straighten myself up, letting the heat and tension in my body dissipate, ending with me relaxing my balled up hands, flailing them as subtly as I can. As I breathe out a silent sigh, though, I hear a silent whoosh pass by. A sharp pain starts to radiate across my body, starting from my outer ear. Oswald's ears suddenly perk up and he quickly turns to fix his gaze behind me. What the? I fail to notice the figure quietly emerging from the darkness of a column situated behind me, as the pain in my ear is most of my attention. I put my paw onto it in reflex, only to find warm dampness. When I place my paw in front of my eyes, I see that it was stained with a thick red liquid. My ear is bleeding? So, is this the new face you told me about, Oz? Footsteps ring across the, by now, mostly quiet training room as the figure slowly becomes illuminated by the light. It was a man about as tall as Dylan. He looks like a raccoon. That mask-like fur pattern. There's no mistaking it. He has a slightly smoking pistol, similar to Oswald's, in his hand. Did he just shoot and graze my ear? Adrian, your ear. Oswald quickly rushes to my side while fixing his gaze on the raccoon that now stands in front of us. Benji. Yes, you don't need to shout, you know. I'm only about 3 feet in front of you. What the fuck is wrong with you? Hey, it's not my fault you put up such a pitiful display for him. Yours, I know, can shoot 3 times farther. And clearly you're just showing off. Oswald seems to be simmering frustration. The raccoon, apparently named Benji, remains unfazed. And last I checked, those rows were 10 feet. Well, sure it wasn't the point of me bringing him here. Oh, it wasn't. Well, forgive me for not reading the room correctly, Oz. I do bet our little friend over here would agree that you were, though. Benji looks at me rather flippantly while fiddling with his pistol. Well, since you said it wasn't just for show, how about we let him have a go at one of the targets? Oswald stands a bit at that, worry written on his face. What? No, Oswald. I want to see if you've got the same eye for quality as I do. Benji approaches and just casually hands me the pistol like he didn't just graze my ear. Now then, would you be ever so kind as to show it? Don't even fuck around with him, Benji. Oswald physically put some distance between Benji and me. My, aren't we being a little too defensive? Fine, just take him to the infirmary then. Oswald grips my shoulder tightly before placing me beside him. Looks at my ear rather perturbed, leading me out of the training room. Come on, Adrian, let's get the ear all bandaged up. Oswald and I make our way towards the infirmary, the wolf wears a rather grim expression while he avoids looking at me. I feel awkward in his half embrace as we continue on our way in silence, feeling his group loosen bit by bit along the way. He's being defensive and showy around me today. Feels a little territorial now that I think about it. The silence between us continues to gnaw at me as we make the turn in the lounge. Eventually makes me cave in and I prepare to speak. Just about to say something though, Oswald suddenly speaks over me. Oh, sorry. His ears droop down as he speaks, his gaze still averted. We take a brief pause at the entrance of the infirmary. What for? Oswald lets out a heavy sigh. Benji's right. I shouldn't be hesitating to train you. Train me? For what? Oswald then opens the doors and puts up a face for me. Come on, let's get you fixed up first. Oswald ushes me in towards an examination chair. Sit here. I do as he says and sit myself down when he gathers up some supplies. Silence fills the room once more as Oswald takes the bandage roll and begins dressing the wound on my ear. I'm assaulted by a quick, sharp pain when he tightens the loop.
Ah. Sorry, didn't mean to do that.
Oswald starts rapping again, more cautiously this time. He's surprisingly gentle and much more dexterous than I anticipated.
Bandages will disinfect the wound, also quicken the healing process.
One of Edencorp's many contributions to the medical field? Oswald stays silent for a bit. His gaze seems to falter briefly.
Yes.
I had the impression the Midnight Sun would, I don't know, boycott anything that Edencorp produces?
We're quite pragmatic. Just because they're made by some evil corporation doesn't mean the actual products are.
Well, I guess that's true. He did have hard light emitters installed at the bar, too. More silence. Oswald finishes up on the bandages, then takes a step back to examine his handiwork.
There we go. Should be mostly healed by tomorrow.
Thanks. Oswald smiles at me, but it quickly fades away. Something's bothering him, and I'm not one to just ignore that. How do I go about it, though? Maybe some small talk? So, Benji, huh? Oswald gives me a look, probably surprised by my attempt at conversation. He doesn't fumble around with his answer, though.
What about him?
He just seems kind of difficult to be with.
That's just who he is. He tends to rub people the wrong way. He's a good dude to be around, I swear.
Oswald sighs to himself once again.
He still rubs me the wrong way sometimes, to be completely honest.
The wolf then pouts, so like how a kid would. To be honest, it's quite cute. He starts fidgeting with his fingers, his muzzle twitches from time to time. Looks like he wants to say something. I suppose I should meet him halfway. Have you known him for a while?
Quite a bit, yeah. It's actually by chance. I just so happened to be at the place he's robbing that night.
Robbing? He's a thief.
A damn good one at that. Being a raccoon certainly helps in that regard. He has those built-in genetics for stealth.
I caress my bandaged ear a bit. Has been a good shot, one of them? Oswald chuckles.
Maybe. But talent can only get you so far.
Suddenly the door of the labs opens. Someone else who I haven't seen before walks out. A Siamese cat?
Oh, hey there, Ellie.
Hello, Oswald. Oswald turns to lean on the examination chair as the cat named Ellie carries a basket filled with canisters with her. When she passes by, a thick scent fills the air, making it hard to breathe.
Hey, what's in that stuff?
Ellie turns around to us. Her expression is rather meek and reserved. The smoke grenades that Benj... Ellie's eyes widen the sight of Benji coming to the infirmary.
Speak of the devil.
Oh, hello, Benji. Here are the... Are you sure we should be talking? Well, they're... I already told you, if you ever need to drop things like these off, I'd ask someone else to just leave them in front of my room. Benji speaks in a grim and spiteful tone, all the while refusing to even look at Ellie. Oh, well, you were right there. I stutter. I gotta move on, you're ruining the view. Ellie does as she's told, going the pace of a half sprint on the way towards the hallway. Well, that certainly was a mess. What was this guy's problem?
What do you want, Benji?
Two things. Benji tosses the piece of cloth towards Oswald. Managing to cover his entire face, so Oswald has to pull it off. Don't worry, that came fresh from the laundry. Your dirty clothes were scattered all over the training room. Benji then trails his gaze on me. I also wanted to check on him. I didn't even get his name, all because you had so rudely pulled away. Oswald sighs at the raccoon's remark. The atmosphere is beginning to feel a little awkward.
His name's Adrian.
Could you have told me sooner?
Had you not made his ear bleed, I would have.
I suppose I did do that. But then I wouldn't have been able to gauge out quite a few things. Benji pauses for a moment before making eye contact with me again. Adrian, was it? Can you give Oswald and me some privacy?
What do you even have to say that can't be said in front of Adrian?
Oh, stop being so antagonistic. I managed to gather some interesting information during my last recon mission.
The potential to forward our plans faster. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Ah, I see. Adrian?
Oswald gives me a gentle nudge. I take that as my cue to skedaddle.
It should be nicer to Ellie, you know.
You wouldn't get it, Oz. I have good reasons.
The conversation continues until I eventually get out of earshot. I stand idly by one of the couches in the lounge where I realise I have nothing else to do. Maybe I could catch up on some sleep. I still feel kind of groggy. Later that night. The faint sound of footsteps echoes through the darkness in the abyss of my mind. It reverberates again across the imaginary walls of this void I have found myself in. I try my best to ignore it. Slowly, it fades from my hearing. The sounds dissipate, a door slowly materializes from the nothingness. A piece of paper containing the words eviction notice plastered in front of it flutters in the wind while being blown away by a sudden gust. I flinched when I realized that the paper was flying towards me. Then a much stronger gust of wind blasts the doors open, the force hit in my face, obscuring my vision. What if I can make out, though, the pair of red gleaming eyes? It glares menacingly through the doorway, seeming to peer through my soul. I'm eventually pulled back into reality. I had half a mind just to ignore whatever that was and go to sleep again. Those footsteps had quite an eerie quality to them, so I know for sure I'm not going to be able to sleep without at least checking it out. I get up and take a few steps out of my room, looking through the doorway across both ends of the hallway. Nothing. I can't believe I'm doing this. Feels a bit childish, kind of like I'm checking for some monsters inside my closet. Only it's a wandering monster around this rather populated space. Why the hell am I like this? I walk around and eventually head to the lounge quietly, surveying my surroundings every so often. As I turn through one of the columns, I hear steady footsteps heading directly towards me. They are quite similar to the footsteps I heard earlier. I quickly turn to look behind me, the sound surely coming from someone close. I can only make out the exit of the base. I manage to see someone come forward and linger by the entryway. Those piercing red eyes. Benji? What's he doing sneaking out in the middle of the night? He's being quite cautious too, looking behind him regularly and everything. A few moments later, with one quick motion, Benji heads into and disappears the opposite side of the corridor. I motion to follow him, but before I'm able to do so, a familiar female voice calls out to me. Adrian? Huh? I turn around and see Alice looking at me with a confused look on her face. Why are you skulking around in the middle of the night? Well, I was, Damn it, why am I looking like the sneaky one? Benji's the one moving about stealthily. Then again, I could just be overreacting. The others might already be well aware of this. Maybe I should ask and see if other people know about it before making assumptions. I don't want to bring any unwanted aggression from him towards me, that's for sure. My injured ear serves as a good reminder of that. Adrian, you're spacing out. Oh shit, gotta stop this habit of mine. Even Dylan reminds me to have more spatial awareness. No, I'm doing it again. Just act normal and focus. Okay. Sorry, something caught my attention. What are you doing up so late? Alice raises an eyebrow at me. Me? I should be asking you that. What? You mean you always stay up this late? Yes, is there a problem with that? Well, I guess not. Right, can we not dwell on my sleep schedule, please? Besides, you being awake saves me the trouble. Trouble? What trouble? At that moment I hear footsteps coming from the hallway. They're faint, but they're getting progressively louder. We're just waiting for someone to get here. From the hallway? Alice gives me a surprised look. Well, yes, how can you tell? I can hear the footsteps. I've got really good hearing. It helps me a lot when I'm making and mixing tracks. Good to know. Just as Alice finishes speaking, Oswald comes out the hallway and into the lounge. All right, Alice, I'm here. What's this all about? Oswald then notices me, surprise forming on his face. He got here before me.
Either that or you didn't notice him pass by.
Oswald only raises a brow at me. I only respond with a shrug. Alice chuckles before redirecting our attention back to her.
Follow me. I have something to show the both of you.
We trail behind Alice. She makes her way to her workspace. The tigress then passes the panel to Oswald as soon as she arrives. The wolf grabs and quickly skims through with a rather stoic and focused expression on his face. A charity party?
Yep, Benji had an inside man open up a lot of options for us. The charity party is going to be held in a place with a data server we can raid. I'm getting Eden Corp's plans through that.
Oswald glances my way, then looks back at Alice. What does he have to do with it?
As much as I hate to admit it, the surveillance systems are too complex for the available tech I have right now. Luckily, Benji's contacted an open spot for someone savvy with some sound tech.
Alice points at me, not breaking eye contact with Oswald.
That's where he comes in.
I have to be a DJ.
Pretty much. When he catches you're also going to serve as living surveillance for Benji and Oswald. That sounds easy, right?
Oswald slowly growls under his breath. Are you sure this is low risk like we talked about?
Trust me, the only way things can get ugly is if you and Benji get caught. Even then, Adrian should be safely evacuated by security. He'll be fine.
Oswald thinks for a moment, exchanging a few concerned glances my way.
On the topic of safety, though, they should ensure that you two can keep tabs on each other.
Alice hands me a familiar box, the same one she showed me during my initiation.
Adrian, Oswald, from this moment on, you two will be partners.
Partners? I look to Oswald for an explanation, but he remains drilled in thought.
You'll be with Benji on this. Oh, we can't fuck this up, so I'm counting on all of you.
Oswald finally seems to finish his contemplation, giving Alice an understanding smile. We won't disappoint.
I know you won't. I'll get some extra sets. We only have about a week before the party happens, but I'll get prepared before then.
We both nod before walking off. So we make our way. I notice Oswald continuously smirking to himself. Partners, huh? I haven't had one in a while. Oswald seems to loosen up as he says, then a big yawn while he stretches. You had one before? Oh yeah, but it didn't work out though. Too many complications and all that. I wonder for a moment. Are they still around? You mean alive? Oh yes, walking around the base? Also yes. Well, that clears up a lot. Well, care to tell me who it was? Oswald suddenly falls silent. Must be a personal thing. Forget I asked. Oswald nods before we stop. Seems like our respective rooms are across from each other. How convenient. Well, guess it's time to sleep.
Yeah.
Oswald opens his door and takes a few steps inside before looking back at me. Good night, partner. Oswald smiles at me before closing his door. I smile for myself in response. Good night, Oswald. There we go. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Eden's Reach, brought to you by these fine people on the left-hand side of the screen. And this channel is also brought to you in part by... I have to work on these segues, don't I? All my patrons, including my top patrons, Tiger Cub, Sindri Dragowolf, Dissonance, Besuksu, Gobers Visser, Kartek, Grizz, Evan King, David Taylor, Samuto, Brian Hall, Anubis Silverwind, Ida Corval, Brandon Bradford, Bastian, Lark Huskerton, Marcus, Kopi and Gullimuller. Thanks to them and all my patrons as usual. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. So I hope to get at least 2 more videos out for the end of October. Might do 3 or see how things are going. I suppose I should do something special for Halloween, but I have no idea what yet. And as I said, when now with the problems with the computer being solved, we are going to be back to a fairly normal routine, and hope to get some backbone fitted in very soon so we can start on that playthrough. It's not a VN, it's just a little side thing, so don't worry, I'm changing things. It isn't, just something I wanted to play. So until next time, which is something. I have no idea what yet. I'll work this out as I come along. Again, thanks for watching. Bye for now.